Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the class. Yesterday, we were in the last segment of the chapter, and we have discussed how the Congress role of Congress in the politics of the country was dominant. It was playing the role of ruling party as well as the opposition party also. And in this way, the Congress was not just a political party. Actually, it was evolved as a Congress system. The way it evolved, it is called the Congress system, and this term was given by Rajni Kothari, a great political thinker. And in this regard, we have discussed all the major issues, and now some other important segments we have to discuss. This is about Swatantra Party. It was an opposition party, and at that time, and it was formed in August 1949 when the Nagpur resolution of the Congress. Uh, in this resolution of the Congress, it was demanded that land sealing should be done. There must be limitations on the uh, land area of various people, especially the farmers and the jamindars, and takeover of food grain trade by the state, and adoption of cooperative farming. So, in the Nagpur resolution of the Congress, the major decisions were regarding the land sealing, and then the food grain trade should be done by the state. Means this session is trying to increase the role of state in the economic sphere, and this means that the country was going towards a more socialist country, a socialist model, and cooperative farming was also said that the country must adopt cooperative farming. And because of these because of these decisions of the Congress, uh, land sealing, then takeover of food grain trade by the state, and adoption of cooperative farming. All these are important tools of socialist economy. In order to make a economy socialist, these measures are adopted by the government. And in the Nagpur session, all these things were considered, and this resolution has came out, and it was the opinion of an old congressman like Rajasi Gopalchari, K.M. Munshi, Anji Ranga, and Minu Masani. They are the important leaders of the Congress, and they were not supporting these three resolutions of the Congress because they were of the opinion that socialism will not bring prosperity. Their views were completely different from the Congress, and because of this different views, these important leaders formed their own party, and that party came to be known as Swatantra Party in August 1959. So the views of the party, that's the Swatantra Party, was completely different from others party which were existing at that time, because this party was having different views, and we will discuss this view. The Swatantra Party wanted the government to be less and less involved in controlling the economy. So uh, uh, we find that in our country, uh, when India got independence, Pandit Nehru was very much impressed by the socialist economy, by the socialist model of economy. And because of this, we have adopted a mixed economy in which there is some sectors are in the private hands, some sectors are in the uh, hands of government, and then some sectors are there in which both the government and the private are involved. So we have adopted this mixed economy, but our inclination was towards socialist model because it was considered that the socialism is pro poor. It uh, it aims at the improvement in the condition of the poor. It narrows down the gap between the rich and the poor. So, socialism was considered a very important aspect of economy, and the Congress also uh, described its aim in awardee session of the its party that the aim of the Congress was to establish socialist pattern of society. So all these things were happening in the name of poor, and the trend at that time was this, that socialism is better than capitalism, because capitalism is only focus on the interest of the rich, interest of the industrialist and the capitalist. So there was general trend that as India was a poor country, number of poor people were very large number of poor people were residing in the country. So it was the opinion in that time. All the almost all the parties were of the view that socialism must be adopted in some way or the other in our economy. But Swatantra Party was completely different in this regard, because it was the opinion of Swatantra Party that there should be very less involvement of the government in the economy. The government should not be the economy should not be controlled by the government. It should be free. When the economy will be free, when the economy will be in the private hands, then only prosperity will come. Because then what happened? Then everything will be done on the basis of competition, and in this way, the economy will grow, and prosperity will come. So it was the opinion of Swatantra Party, and it was critical of the development strategy of state intervention in the economy. It was against the state intervention of the economy. The state should not interfere in the matters of economy. Everything should be left in the hands of the private people. And it was also against the centralized planning in our country. On the model of Soviet system, we have adopted a planned economy. We have our planning commission, and still today we are having this planning commission, and 5-year plans were made by this planning commission. So this party was also against the centralized planning, and nationalization was also opposed by the party, because privatization, it was in favor of privatization, not in nationalization. Nationalization is opposite of privatization. Then it was also against the public sector. It was of the opinion that there must be expansion of private sector, and if we see in particularly in the agricultural sector, the views of the Swatantrata Party was that land selling should not be done in agriculture. The aim of bringing this land ceiling act was to reduce the gap between the jamindars, between the big farmers and the uh, small and marginal farmers, because there is a lack of there is a distribution of land resources is very unequal in our country. So, in order to make it equal, this Sealing Act was brought. But in actual practice, this Land Sealing Act was not helpful, because there was many lacuna in this act, and people made use of that weaknesses, and it was not proved to be very helpful. Then this Swatanta party also opposed cooperative farming. Means farming should be done in a cooperative manner. There will not be any owner, or everyone will be only there to produce. To Everyone will be there to for the purpose of farming, and then the profit will be distributed among them in the equal proportion. So this was also against this cooperative farming, and state trading was also opposed by Swatantrata Party. States should not interfere in the trading. So these were all the ideology of Swatantra Party. It was totally based on economic ideology, and in its view, economy should be free. And it was also opposed to the progressive tax regime. Taxation should not be uh, in that manner that it will limit the economic activity of the people. And it also demanded dismantling of the licensing regime. Licensing was also mm, not good for economy, for the growth of economy. It inhibits it prohibits the growth of the economy, because so many documentation and unnecessary things are required, which obstruct the growth of economy. So not only this, in this is only about economic aspect. In political aspect, what was its view? Its view was that India should not adopt non-alignment. Instead of maintaining good relation with Soviet Sangh, we know that though India was one of the founding members of non-aligned movement. Nehru, because of the effort of Nehru, the non-aligned movement can be actualized. The dream of non-aligned movement can be actualized, and contribution of Nehru is very much in this regard. Still, we find that in spite of being a non-aligned country, our the inclination of our country was towards Soviet Union, and this Swatantrata Party was completely against this inclination towards Soviet Union. It was not supporting the friendly relation with the Soviet Union, and it advocated closer ties with the United States. Instead of having good relation with Soviet Union, have we should maintain good relation with US. So Swatanta Party gained strength in different parts of the country by way of merger with numerous regional parties and interests. So in many parts of the country, it became in a good position, and for this, in order to get strength, in order to become strong, it merged with so many regional parties. And it also attracted the landlords and princes who wanted to protect their land and status that was being threatened by the land reforms legislation, as this party was against the land sealing act. It was against the cooperative farming. So naturally, it will get support of the landlords, and these landlords started supporting the party, and because of this, its support base increased. Then the industrialist and business class were also with this party, because this party was against nationalization and licensing, and the industrialists were also against the nationalization and licensing, so they supported the party. But as it was, we can say that the ideology of this party was beyond the time. It was not suitable according to that time. But if we see the ideology of this party in the present situation, we find that the ideology was 100% true. Today, what we have done, we have started privatization, we have liberalized our economy, we have gone for globalization, licensing system, permit system, everything has done away. Nothing is there in our economy. So, whatever was the view of this Swatantra Party, now we have achieved that. We are supporting that view, and now we are working on that ideology only. So this is very we can say that the leaders of the Swatantra Party were ahead of the time. They were not their ideology was not according to that time, but they were thinking ahead. आगे they were वो समय के आगे थे, क्योंकि आज today we find that all these ideologies which were the basis of this Swatantra Party has now been adopted by India, and USSR is not existing. It has been disintegrated, and we are having closer ties with US. So everything is mm, according to that ideology only. Everything is happening and everything is changing according to that ideology only. So this is the Swatantrata Party, and the symbol of this Swatantrata Party was star. And you must remember the important leaders of the Swatantrata Party. And now, C. Rajagopalchari was the most important leader, and he was also a literary writer, close associate of Mahatma Gandhi, and he was also a member of Constituent Assembly. And after Mountbatten, he became the first Indian. After Mountbatten, the Governor General post was still there. After getting independence, India was the Constitution of India was under construction, and we got independence on 16th on 15th August 1947, and our Constitution came into effect on 26th January 1950. So during this period, we were still having the post of Governor General, and after getting independence, we got first Indian Governor General as Raja C. Gopalchari. Okay, and he was our Governor General from 1948 to 1950. He was also a minister in Union Cabinet, and after he became Chief Minister of Madras also, and he was first recipient of Bharat Ratna Award. This is very important. He was the first recipient of Bharat Ratna Award, and he was one of the most important founder members of the Swatantrata Party. Okay, these two informations regarding him is because in MCQ these are very important questions. First Indian to be the Governor General of India. Okay, so these are the information regarding the C. Rajagopalchari. And now we will have some discussion about Syama Prasad Mukherjee. Uh, he was leader of Hindu Mahasabha, founder of Bharatiya Jansangh. We have discussed about him when we were discussing Bharatiya Jansangh. So he was one of the founder members of Bharatiya Jansangh. He was a minister in Nehru's first cabinet. Okay, and but 1950 he has resigned because there were differences in the views, and these views between Nehru and Syama Prasad Mukherjee, and these differences were over relation with Pakistan, and he was also the member of Constituent Assembly, and later he became the member of first Lok Sabha. He was opposed to India's policy of autonomy to Jammu and Kashmir. The which autonomy was given to Jammu and Kashmir, he was not in support of that. autonomy. And when Johnson was agitating against Kashmir policy, he was arrested and he died during detention only. So these are the important thing about Shama Prasad Mukherjee. Now we will discuss this excerpt, which is from Panishwarnath Renu's novel. Panishwarnath Renu is a great author of Hindi literature, and his novel Mela Aanchal is also very popular novels, one of the popular novel of Panishwarnath Renu. And this novel uh, is set in Purnia district in North Bihar, Northeast Bihar, and the time is early year of independence. So the place is northeastern Bihar, and the time is early years after independence. So here is some extracts from that book, that story. How in a Bihar village party competition was there. So we see when two buffaloes fight, the grass beneath them gets crushed. The Congress and Socialist parties are fighting with each other. Both of them are seeking new members. The poor people will be ground between the two grandstones. So, what is the view that in the fighting of two buffaloes, what happens? Whatever grass is under these two buffaloes, all the grass gets crushed. In the similar way, these two buffaloes are the Congress and the Socialist parties, and they are fighting with each other. Why are they fighting? They are fighting because they want to increase their uh, popularity base. They want to increase their support base, and they are fighting with each other. And in this fight, uh, as we see that in the fighting of the bulls, in the fighting of the buffaloes, the grass gets crushed, which is lying beneath the buffaloes. In the similar way, the poor people will be crushed when these two buffaloes are fighting. But in this fight of buffaloes, in this fight of Socialist Party and Congress, the poor will not be crushed because whenever there is a dominance of single party, then what happens? The party which has so much dominance that it is able to uh, win three-fourths seats in the legislature. Okay, so it will not try to win the more and more support. It will not try. It will become, in a way, we can say that it will become uh, irresponsible, unaccountable, because it is assured of its winning. It knows that no one is there in the political field who can compete with it, because we have seen that in the first position Congress won three-fourth seats, and the second position was uh, gained by Communist Party of India, which was able to win only 16 seats. So the huge difference between the position of the ruling party and the opposition party make the ruling party unaccountable, irresponsible. It is not going to think more for all the sections of the society, because it is knowing that it is because it is assured of its winning. So when a new party arises, when a new political party is there, and it is giving a kind of challenge to the ruling party, then it will be beneficial for the poor, because now the ruling party will start uh, mm, taking interest in the poor people also, because it will be afraid that a new party has emerged, and this new party is really working for the poor section of the society. So it may lose its support base, and in this way, in the coming elections, it may lose many votes, many seats. It may lose. So this fear, what this fear does, because of this fear, the ruling party or the dominant party uh, starts working in the interest of the poor section of the society. So this is a very beneficial position for the poor. It is one party dominance is not good for the needy and the poor section of the society. Okay, so whenever there is competition and rivalry between two groups, the people will be benefited by this rivalry. It is in a way, this is conveying the importance of opposition party. The opposition must be strong if we really want that democracy should be successful in a country. Then the opposition must be in a strong position. It must have its own support base. It must have considerable seats. It must win considerable seats in the Lok Sabha. Then only it can control. It can control the ruling party in an efficient manner. So this is what is conveyed by this these lines, that fighting is not bad for the poor people. Fighting is good. Competition is good. Dominance of single party is bad for the people. That will be in a way we can say detrimental for the health of democracy. So we see that the news of socialist party meeting had agitated the Santhals. So Santhal is a region in that northeast Bihar only, and it is a tribal area. And in this reason, the Socialist Party is going to organize a meeting. The news of the opening of the hospitals had not made much impression on them, nor did they ever bother much about the fights and quarrels or the friendly gathering of the villagers. But this meeting was for the tillers of the soil. So this meeting holds a very important place for Santhalis, for the people of Santhals. Why? Because this meeting is not for any developmental work. It is not going to do any new construction work, or the people are not very much bothered about the fights and quarrels, or any type of gathering which is done in the village. But this meeting is very important, because this meeting is for the tillers of the soil. To whom does the land belong? To the tiller. He who tills will sow, he who sow will harvest, and he who works will eat, come what may. Kalicharan lecture. So this is the very important these statements, and it holds a very important place. So you can just understand that the land belongs to the tiller. Whoever is the tilling the land will sow the land, and who is sowing the land will harvest the crop, and who is harvesting the crop will eat that crop. Nothing should obstruct this chain. It does not matter the land is owned by a zamindar or any big farmer. The land is only belonging to the tiller. Whoever is tilling the land is the owner of the land. Whoever is tilling the land will eat the crop which is grown out of that tilling. The work starts with the tilling and end with the consumption. So this chain should not be obstructed. The tillers cannot be forced to give a part, to take only a smaller part of the produce of the land. They are the owner of. They are the that soil, that land belong to the tillers only. So there was a turmoil in the district office of the Congress party also. Why this turmoil in the district office of the Congress party? Because now they are very much disturbed because of this meeting, because they are knowing that the socialist party is working for the poorest section of the society, the landless laborers. They are working for those people. So now they are afraid of losing this uh, support base. They were about to elect a party chairman. There were four candidates, two real content. It was about district Congress party, district office of the Congress party. For that, there was an election of a party chairman, and in this, there were four candidates, two real contenders and two dummy. Dummy means they were only there for the purpose of sewing. Actually, they are not working, only for the purpose of showing that they are there in the fight. It was a contest between Rajput and Bhumihars. The two contenders are the real now. So the one contender belongs to the Rajput community and the Rajput caste, and the another community, another is belonging to the Bhumihar. The wealthy businessmen and zamindars from both the castes were cruising all over the district in their motor cars campaigning. So the Congress was of the party. Congress was the party of wealthy businessmen and zamindars. Okay, so all kind of slinging was going on between them. The Seth who owns the Katihar cotton mill was representing the Bhumihar party. Okay, Katihar cotton mill का जो owner है, he is representing the Bhumihar party, and the owner of Farbiganj jute mill was representing the Rajput. So they both are industrialists. Okay, so you should see the money they are flashing around. So in campaigning, they are spending so much money in order to win the election. So in this way, we see that how the ideology, how the working of the two political parties are totally different from each other. The one is working for the landless laborers, for the tillers of the soil, and the one is working only for the industrialists, but it is representing itself as the party of the poor only by its statements, not by its actions. So this is all about the chapter, and now we will in the next class start a new chapter.